Welcome to my video. Today, X company sent me an assignment. They want me to build a contact management web application using MERN. For front end, use React. For backend, Node.js. Database, MongoDB. For styling, CSS, Tailwind, or Bootstrap, anything I like. State management using UseDip. Name, email, phone, message is optional. Form. Error handling in backend. Create post API to send data from front end to backend, and get API to fetch details from database and display the number of user details on the page. On your left side, it is a normal React app. Now let's create that contact management React app from the scratch. So let's in SRC folder create a import that contact component inside app.jsx. Now let's create a form. Okay. Let's design this form now. This is the styling for a form. Okay. This is the class name, and here is a CSS design. I skipped CSS because I don't want to make it a long video. Now let's make this form controlled component. For that, create a use state form data. Able to write anything inside the inputs because you need to update the values dynamically. So for that, let's create a new variable called form handle change. Let's do destructuring here, like a name value from a dot target set form data previous value name value. Now just copy this and on change paste the variable form d Now paste this on every input field. Now you will be able to write anything inside the inputs. Okay. Now let's work on error handling. So I want to show the errors on real time. Okay. So if the user is typing email and the email is incorrect, and I want to show the error under the input field on real time. So for that, let's create another state called errors, form errors. Create another function called form error handling, which accept two arguments, name and value, and use that function, copy this function and paste inside form handle change and send name and value. And I'm accepting this name and value here because I want to show the real-time errors. Now let's create a error. Let's create a empty error variable and then use now then if name is equal name and value dot trim is empty, error name is required, it's late, set errors. Now let's copy this form errors, come here down under the input field, errors dot name scan. Now let's add error handling for other input fields like email and phone. Message is optional. Now this is a error handling for email and mobile number. It is a tabular expression in a JavaScript. Okay. It is basically just checking if it is a valid email or not, and it is a phone. In phone, it is checking if it is a 10-digit number or not. Okay. Just use this. Now here it is after submitting form, it is refreshing the page. Okay. So I don't want that. So form handle form handle submit. It dot prevent default. It will stop refreshing the page. Okay. So just copy this and paste inside the form tag on submit. It will stop. Our error handling is done. Let's see if it is working or not. So let's see on email, right? Email invalid email because it is not the correct email format. Okay. @gmail.com and error is gone. Let's add text. It will show error. Phone must be 10 digit. Let's add digits 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's gone. If I add 11 digit, it will show error. 10 digit, error is gone. Now I want to disable this submit button. So for that, let's create another variable called is disabled. On is disabled, use form data dot name is string. Copy this is disabled variable and paste inside submit button. Disabled and I want to change the color of submit button if the submit button is disabled. Now let's add same logic for every field. Form data dot email or form data dot phone. That's enough. Now let's fill this input fields: name, email, phone number, and submit button is enabled. Now let's get this user details in a console log. User SUWC. Now I want to store these user details in a new state. For that, let's create another state for storing the user details, like users set users. Okay. It is only storing a single user, but I want to store multiple users in a inside user state. So for that, let's come here, previous state, and input fields to be reset. Okay, after storing user details, I want this input field to be empty. Mail. It did not work. Not this actually. It is a form data. First user. Let's create another user. Second user. It is storing. Now I want to show this user details on the page. So for that, let's create another component called users JSX and import that user component inside content code. Now inside users component, I mean first let's send the users. Then name user dot name email phone message. and send idx as a key. Idx. Now let's style this user component. Now I want to turn this into table format actually. So let's do this and add button for a delete button actually. So now let's style it. This is the final UI, and it's the CSS file for contact details. Where is this? Wait, yes, from here, contact details. And I'm successfully showing that the user details on the website. Now we need a backend. We need to create backend, so I can send these details in a backend and paste those details from backend and show here. I want to install some libraries like React.js and Axios. Axios for fetching data and React.js for when user create new details here. I want to show the message. When user delete the details, I want to show the message here. Okay. MPNI, React.js and Axios. See, Axios, React.js. This is a React.js npm package, so just copy this, paste inside context component, and copy this and paste here. Let's create a backend first outside the folder. Now inside backend, let's initialize the Node.js. Now let's install some packages like a course, Express, and Mongoose. And here on type, I want to use the module. Let's create a backend. Import. Now inside server.js, import the course, Express, and now let's connect with the database actually, MongoDB database. It is a MongoDB URL you have to create in MongoDB database. If database is connected successfully, I want to show this message that database connected successfully. See it. And if there is problem, I want to show the problem. Database error. Now let's run the server. Add.json port. Server is running. server running. Server is running on HTTP localhost port. There are two problems, I think. Not Express only, dot express.json, and here use mongoose.connect. Yes, database connected successfully. Server is running. Let's create a schema. Create another folder. User schema. Import mongoose. Inside user schema, we need to define the document structure actually. So const user schema new mongoose dot schema. Now we need to define the name, email, phone number, message. Okay. Name, type string. Same for email. Phone number will be number. Message will be a string. And timestamp. Timestamp true. New user. User. And export this new user variable. Export user. Our database structure is ready. Now let's create a API. Create another folder called router. Inside router. No, now inside router, create a user router. Import Express. User router. Express dot router. Now let's create a API for creating user. Create user API. User router dot post because I am receiving data from frontend. Define API route like create user request and response. I am receiving data in a request body. Okay, so I will structure here like a name, email, phone, message, request dot body. First, let's check if I am receiving data or not from frontend. Okay. Request dot body. Export the user router. Export default user router. And I'm going to import this inside server.js. Here, use app dot use user router. Now let's just copy this and frontend contact.js here. Const turn this form handle submit into async await. Async. And here data await Axios. Suggestion is not working. Let's import Axios from Axios. Axios dot post. This copy this backend URL. router URL create user. To use this, okay, user. And here I need to send this form data with name, email, phone, message, form data. And let's see what we get from the backend. And just console log the data so we can see the if we are getting the response from backend or not. Update. Yeah, I'm console log data on front end, so I need to send something from the backend. Okay, so user router res.json res.status 200 .json message successful. User created successfully. Now let's see if it is working or not. Submit. So user server.js. Let's refresh and send details again. Submit. Yes, it is working. User created successfully. This message is getting from the user created successfully. And here in request body, I have received name, email, phone, and message. So now let's store these details in the database. Create a try catch block. In try block, const user exist. First, I want to check if user exists or not. Okay. Let's turn this into async a bit. New user. I'm getting this new user from the user schema. Okay. I'm using this new user dot point one email. If email is exist, send res.json. User already exist. If user is new, I want you to create a new user in that database. First, you to create a new user. Okay. New user dot new user store name, email, phone, message, const new user created. Await user dot save. Now here, if new user is created, I want you to send status 200 message user created successfully and send the new user details. No, I don't want to send new user details to the front end. This status 409. Failed. This dot status. server problem. User schema.js. Okay, successfully connected. And I need another API to fetch all user details from the backend. Create user API is done. Now let's create a get fetch all user details. Fetch all users user router dot get all users request dot comma response const all users async await new user dot find. This will get all the users from the backend. If let's do this in a try catch block. If copy this all users and set all user object to the front end. Now here I am creating a user API. I am fetching user details. Now there is another API for deleting the user router dot delete. Let's do this ID request comma response async await delete user new user dot find by ID and delete request dot rums dot ID. So I'm receiving the ID inside a link, so that's why params request dot params const delete user is successful. It's deleted successfully. I want you to send if user is deleted successfully. I want you to send user deleted successfully. Let's move this inside try catch block. In try block, if user deleted successfully, I want you to send user deleted successfully. Otherwise, send user failed to delete. Fail. I think we are done with backend. Okay. Create API is done. Fetch all user is done, and delete user is done. First, let's fetch user details from the backend and show that user details on front end. Inside use effect, copy this. I will just create a variable const API. Use that API. Catch a block here. Page users, user page, and console log page user data. And set user server problem. Users. user.js. Yes, we are receiving the data here. Okay. Array. Create another user. Checked. I am receiving all data inside all users. In users, I am using map method on directly on users. So instead of users, use all users. See, now I am receiving data from the backend. It's a create a user alex@gmail.com. I am Alex. Now let's create. This user is created. This all user is already exist in our database. Okay, so let's see. I'm getting error on a contact specifically line. User already exists. So let's add error. Now I want to show this error on a front end. So response data. Dot response data. Create again. Okay, user already exists. So I want to show that message in Toastify actually. Copy this. ERR message. Create user already exists. User already exists. So I want to show Toastify when user is created successfully. It's a console log data. Read, comment this data inside data message. And copy this, paste inside if. So try create new user. Alexander. Alex@gmail.com. 8-digit number message. Okay. Submit. User created successfully. Let's comment this. It's a work on delete ID. I mean delete functionality. When I click on delete, I want to delete this user detail. Okay. Let's on delete button, create new function. Delete user and send user ID. Okay. MongoDB user ID. Create this delete user. Const accept ID. Const remove user. Async await axios dot delete API. This API I'm getting from contact component. This API route. Okay. User and send ID. Move this logic inside try catch block. And after deleting document, I want to show the React Toastify comment here. For that, copy this. Let's try user deleted successfully. Let's create user. I am create user created. Now let's try adding same user again. User already exists and delete the user. User deleted successfully. One thing I want to change, that is a number here. On input, I want to use the number instead of text. Use this CSS. If I disable this, something like this on number. So I don't want to show that. Add this CSS. It is gone. So let's try again. User already exists. So user created successfully. Delete this, user deleted successfully. Yes. Now that I think our assignment is done here. Okay. Contact form, name, email, phone, message, error handling is done. Get post API, get API, post API. Show submitted contact. Okay. Without page reloading. Okay. In responsive submit button disable if form is invalid. Delete is also added. Success message is also added. It is optional. Sorting. It is done. I think. State for controlling component inputs. This form errors is a state for error hand state for error handling. User state for storing the user details. For storing user details. Form error handling is for showing errors while typing. Handle form change. Change input value dynamically. Form handle submit. The send form data to backend. Use effect. Get data from backend. Point. Delete user. Here disable submit button.